Welcome to Love, Laughter, and Limits. I'm Tom Dozier, and this lesson is Ask, Don't Tell, a spooky parenting skill. It's a skill for dealing with non-compliance or non-cooperation, for dealing with children not listening. Usually when parents say, my child doesn't listen to me, what they mean is they don't do what I ask them to do. I call this a spooky parenting skill because it has an eerie effect, almost unbelievable effect on child behavior. We're also going to learn a variation of this skill called the way things are. And both of these skills come from the works of Dr. Glenn Latham. I would like to acknowledge him in this regards. So, as with all parenting, we really want to stay calm. So we stay calm. We want to respond to our child's protest with empathy and understanding. We want to ask our child what she should do. The goal here is to have them tell you rather than you tell them, right? You're asking a question rather than telling them again. And you may have to repeat this empathy question several times, but then your child will give you the answer as to what they're supposed to do, and then you respond positively to it. You give them a nice positive interaction, positive response to that, and it has an unbelievable effect as to how likely they are to go ahead and do it. So let's look at the steps. First off, remember, stay calm. You're much more successful in dealing with children's non-compliance if you stay calm and unemotional. And then we want to respond to their protests with empathy and understanding. We've either told them what they need to do, or it's a certain time of day and they know it and they know what they're supposed to be doing. So we're going to look at what they're doing or what they're saying, and then respond in a way that lets them know that we hear them. We hear their feeling. So for example, the child says, but this is my favorite TV show. And you go, oh yes, I know you really like that show. Or it's time for bed and the child says, but I'm not tired. And you can say, you know what? I can see you're still wide awake. Or the child says, but homework is stupid. And we don't want to get into a discussion about the homework. We want to answer the message. Go, yeah, I know sometimes it seems like our teachers ask us to do a lot of extra things that maybe you don't see the point. Or yeah, maybe it seems stupid today. But we want to acknowledge that feeling. Or the child, you're at the park or somewhere and the child said, but I don't want to go home. And you go, oh, you know what? I know you would like to stay at the park. And that's empathy. That's really acknowledging their emotion. You want to touch the feeling. But then what you want to do, rather than telling them again what they're supposed to do, you want to focus on the expectation by asking your child what they should do. For example, you might say, well, what do I expect you to do right now? Or what should you be doing? Or where are you supposed to be? Or what do you need to do before you watch TV? Or how do I expect you to treat your sister? You see, we can use the words like, what should you do, or what you should do, or need to do, or supposed to do. But the most powerful one is, what do I expect you to do? They can't really argue. They can argue with the others. Well, I need to watch the end of this show because I haven't seen it before. But they can't really argue with what do I expect you to do? Well, they're not going to say, well, you expect me to watch the end of this show. Nah, they're not going to do that. They're going to say, well, you expect me to go do my homework or whatever it is. So we're trying to have the child tell us what we expect them to do. We want to have them state the expectation. Now, the child will often protest the first or the second time you ask a question. And so you want to respond to that protest with empathy and then go back to the question. And then once they say it, then you want to respond in a positive way. So, for example, if the child says, you ask the question, what do I expect you to do right now? And the child says, well, feed the rabbit. You say, that's right, thank you. Or, put on my pajamas. Right, it's pajama time. You ask the question, well, what should you be doing? And the child says, my homework. You go, good answer, thanks. See, that positive response is a nice setting event. It's recognizing that they've done something appropriate and answering it. And if you get that happy by just them saying it, imagine how happy you're going to be when they actually do it. So it's a good setup for them to have you respond positively when they actually do it. If you ask the question, where are you supposed to be? You might hear, in my room. You go, thanks, honey. Thank you. Good answer. That's right, in your room. This was a story from a mom I'm working with, and she was using this with her 3.5-year-old daughter. And the daughter comes down out of her room, down the stairs, and mom says, Katie, where are you supposed to be right now? She goes, in my room. And she turns and trudges back up the stairs, and off she goes. So you may ask the question if their kids are starting to argue with each other, or you've asked them to play nicely and they're starting to not get along. You say, how do I expect you to play with your sister? Well, not hurt her and play nice. Thanks, that's exactly right. I'll look forward to seeing that. So respond in a nice, positive way when your child repeats the expectation. So for example, here's going to put it together. As a parent, you may say, it's 4 o'clock. Kid's still watching TV. They're supposed to be doing their homework. So you say, I can see you're enjoying TV, but what do I expect you to do right now? Oh, I don't want to do my homework. And you say, I can tell you don't like homework. That's pretty normal. But what do I expect you to do right now? And Dr. Latham found that 97% of the time the kids would protest 2 or 3 times. And then they would tell you, say what they're supposed to do. And to which I would respond in this case, that's right, your homework, thanks. And then back up a little bit and give them a chance to do it. Now, what if the child doesn't say it? If you have a kind of a conflict-oriented relationship with your child, you may have a child who won't say it. Deal with it as best you can. If the 4th time they protest, you just say, I know you'd like to keep watching TV, but right now it's time for homework. Then you kind of go to the ask, don't tell. And you deal with it as calmly and as simply as you can. You might just, and I've had parents say, well, what if they say, do my homework? So they're watching TV, and I say, hey, what are you supposed to be doing right now? And the child says, my homework. And you go, right, thanks. Then back off. Then you might come back again and say, if they didn't do it, they're still watching TV, hey, I know you're enjoying the TV program, but what should you be doing right now? My homework. I'll get to it. Go, thanks, that's exactly right. And then you give it maybe a couple of minutes and you walk back in and you walk over to the TV and you go, click. What are you supposed to be doing right now? My homework. I want to watch TV. That's right, your homework. And as soon as you take care of the homework, you can do what? Watch TV. Thanks. And you're still cheery about it, but you can step in and just make it happen. See, what you find in this whole skill about ask, don't tell, the objective is to have the child say it. See, when the child says it, that's a very mature skill. We look at our watch and go, oh, it's 8:30, I need to get going. And we do it. We tell ourselves stuff all the time, but it's in our thoughts usually. So what we're doing is prompting the child so they can say what they're supposed to do, because saying it leads to doing it where the child has done it on their own order. You've asked them a question, they've given the order, they do it, that produces real change. And that's what we're looking for here. For them to say it, which leads to doing it, which leads to the desired behavior change. A couple of stories here. So I was in a school in the city of Dublin, California. It was a small modular building that I was walking through. Short hallway, 6 kids were milling around in the hallway. As I was about halfway through the hallway, a teacher came in the door in front of me. We passed, and then behind me I hear, hey kids, get on outside, it's recess. Go on. And I turn around, and the teacher's evaporated. She's gone. And I realized what she'd done is she had just ducked into her classroom and went on. And these kids were just milling around, totally unaffected. So I turned to these kids and said, hey kids, where are you supposed to be right now? And one little boy looks up at me and says, outside at recess. And I said, that's exactly right. Great answer. And they turned and they walked out the door. Now, with teens and toddlers, it's the same skill, but it sounds completely different. You know, you wouldn't turn to your teen and say, what are you supposed to be doing? And they say, getting ready for bed. You go, that's right, getting ready for bed. Great answer. You see, you wouldn't do that with a teen, but you would with a 4-year-old, right? But with a teen, you say, hey, what are you supposed to be doing? Getting ready for bed. You say, hey, thanks, I appreciate that. Be more respectful with teen, but it's still the same skill. It just sounds different. Now, a variation of ask, don't tell is the way things are. I think I get this from Babe, you know, there were three little mice in Babe, and they'd always say, the way things are. Well, we're going to tell kids the way things are. So it's just like ask, don't tell, except instead of asking a question as to what your child is supposed to be doing, we're making a statement to them and says, this is what you need to do. So lots of empathy, you know, I know you were having fun, I know you'd like to do that, but then the way things are. But right now, it's nap time. Right now, it's homework time. But right now, we need to get going. Empathy again, and then come back with a statement. Yeah, but right now you need to get your shoes on. And this is very simple, very simple. With younger children, you actually make it happen. So maybe 8 and under, 6 and under, especially 4 and under, 3, 2. You know, I know you're enjoying the TV show, but it's time for bed right now. And the child, oh, but I don't want to go to bed. You know, I know you'd like to stay up and watch TV, but it's bedtime. Come on. And if the child goes ahead and does it, that's fine. You say, hey, thanks. Thanks for getting started. But if they don't, then you can just go ahead and make it happen. Just calmly take them by the hand, put your hand on their shoulders, and say, come on, let's go. It's time for bed. And you just escort them on to their room where they can get started. That's called physical guidance, right? Just calmly making it happen. So a couple of stories with this. For younger kids, my oldest grandchild at the time was about 4. We were leaving the park. Had loaded all the kids up in Poppy's big lawn wagon. My wheelbarrow had finally died on me and I needed a replacement. So instead of buying a wheelbarrow, I bought one of these pretty big lawn wagons because I can carry more kids in a lawn wagon than I could in a wheelbarrow. And I'd loaded them up at the park and we were starting home. And my grandson Benjamin said, oh, but I didn't get to go down the big slide. And his dad said, oh yeah, Benjamin, I saw you go down at least once, maybe twice. No, I didn't get to go down the big slide. See, Benjamin's giving an emotional statement. Dad's giving a logical answer. It's not connecting. So I step in and say, Benjamin, you've really been having fun at the park, haven't you? He goes, yeah. And you would really like to stay longer and go down that big slide some more, wouldn't you? Yeah. Says, oh, I wish we could, but Grammy's got dinner ready and we've got to go home and eat. I'm sorry. And we left. And that was it. He was completely satisfied. By giving that emotional response, the empathy, it helps children be heard and stay calm and calm down. Now, I've got a 2-year-old grandson with me right now, and the other night it was time for bed. We say, okay, come on, it's time for bed. And he goes, I want a TV, you know, cartoon, or Nemo. He likes Disney's movies, likes to act them out. But he wasn't ready to go to bed. And Daddy says, oh, Austin, I know you'd like to stay up more, but right now it's time for bed. We got to go. And so he went ahead and made it happen. Now, Austin couldn't have given him all the answers. He doesn't speak that well. But the empathy that was there helps him understand that he's been heard. So you've learned 2 skills here. They're very similar. We can kind of mix them together. Ask, don't tell, and the way things are. So thank you for watching Ask, Don't Tell, a spooky parenting skill. I'm Tom Dozier, wishing you an abundance of love and laughter in your family. along with a few limits to help your children behave well and be happy. Thank you.